Hello and welcome to another week of WP. Well, Prime Minister Scott Morrison was back in Perth this week for a quick trip ahead of a meeting overseas with G7 nations. He spoke about fighting back against coercion from China before heading to the UK next week, but his trip out west could be seen as a push for WA votes with the federal election up next year. So what does this visit mean for the PM and his government?
Prime Minister Scott Morrison stopped in Perth on Wednesday ahead of his planned travel to the UK as a guest leader at the annual G7 Summit of World Leaders. Mr Morrison spoke predominantly on defence, trade, international relations and carbon emissions. He aims to be a strong voice for Australia in the upcoming summit in Cornwall.
It will be clear and direct. It will be positive and constructive. And it will be respectful and confident of who we are as an Australian people, our values, our agency and the positive contribution we can make.
The PM explained the government's plan to invest $270 billion into the defence industry to ensure Australia's sovereign security, with much of the money headed overseas. This investment in defence is especially topical with diplomatic relations between China and Australia degrading in the recent months. Mark McGowan has called it madness for the PM to speak about armed conflict after Morrison said the risk of conflict was growing.
Promoting the idea of armed conflict with a superpower is madness, and I don't get it.
It's a worrying conflict of ideas, facing trade and relations breakdown with China while we rely on 40% of our oil coming from Asia. As refinery production reduces here, soon it will be even more, and Australia has only a few days of fuel reserve at any given moment. Political analyst Peter Kennedy said that Mr Morrison's visit to Perth is an attempt for the Liberal Party to survive the federal election better than their state counterparts fared in March. He also says that opposition leader Anthony Albanese may be trying to cosy up to a popular leader in Mark McGowan.
Albanese, not very well known in the West. That's one of his problems. Not that well known. If he can get the strong endorsement of a popular leader like Mark McGowan, then that obviously helps him. Now, whether it's enough for him to win the majority of the seats in the West, that's another matter. But Labor has to improve on its vote from last time, and Mr Albanese cozying up to Mr McGowan might just help them build that vote.
And now, here's this week's COVID-19 commentary with AMA WA President Dr Andrew Miller.
Hi, thanks for your time. In regard to vaccination, we're seeing a lot of resistance in the over 50 age group to AstraZeneca at the moment. Only around 25% of the 50 to 59 age group have taken up the benefit of one jab and less than that of two at this stage. Now, obviously, we want this older population to be vaccinated, and we've now gone down to 30 years and up to 50 with the Pfizer. The thing that we're seeing is that people are a bit angry around the fact that they can't access Pfizer when they're over 50 and that they have to wait until later in the year. And the question we want clarified from the government is exactly how long, because this has all been sort of rolled out at the last minute without much warning, that it'll be going down to 30 years old. And I think if it goes down to 20 and younger, then that will increase in some ways the sense of people who are over 50 feeling that they're being treated unfairly in some way. Even though the complication to do with the blood clots is incredibly rare, the fact is that there's another vaccine where that complication doesn't occur, and that's what people are most upset about. Probably less so the issue that it's also less time between the injections, so it's a much more rapid path to immunity. People then have to decide how likely is it we're going to have a COVID outbreak. We saw in Melbourne suddenly, everyone was pretty happy to have the AstraZeneca when they felt that there was disease close by, but we don't have that sensation at the moment driving vaccination in WA. So whilst I would encourage people to get vaccinated, I'm also encouraging the government to make it very clear so that people can make decisions based on facts, how long exactly they're going to have to wait if they do wait, and why it is that we would be vaccinating healthy 20-year-olds, for example, ahead of others over the age of 50 who prefer to have the Pfizer vaccine if there is that vaccine available. So we'll look forward to more information coming from the government there, and being able to get to a state where we say that 80% of the people over the age of 12 have had two vaccines. That's obviously many months away at this stage, but that's what we need to get to protect those in the community who can't actually be vaccinated, really shut it down with some good herd immunity. Went today to the vigil for Tanaka at outside the Children's Hospital in Perth, where she's currently being treated after having a severe infection, and flown down here from Christmas Island. And that's really thrown focus on the issue that these children are being brought up in detention. They were born in Australia. The community that they're in Queensland wants them and their family back, and are not seen as being undesirable people as far as that community is concerned. And so if the only reason we're keeping these kids and their family in detention is as a deterrent to others, then I think that that is an invalid policy on the basis of morality and ethics, and indeed healthcare for these children, because they're very important developmental years to be out and about, and we know that these years are important for their future mental and physical health as well. So we're calling upon the government officially to release them back to their community, sort out whatever legal issues you have with the parents by all means, but if we're in a legal stalemate, it shouldn't be children that are paying the price by any means, and it certainly should never be a human shield to enforce our very strong borders, which of course have been part of our COVID success. No one's arguing with that, but it must be capable of being controlled without needing to keep small children in detention to the detriment of their health. Thanks for your time.
That was Dr. Andrew Miller, and that's WP for this week. We'll be back again next time, but for now, it's back to you.
Thank you, Nelson. And here's Leo with what's coming up on 6 News tonight.
Thanks, Justin. On 6 News breaking news, thousands of Melburnians returned to in-person work and school after the state government announced several eased restrictions. However, many remain as the opposition is accused of spreading conspiracy theories about Dan Andrews' injury. We're speaking live to the member for Sandringham, Brad Rosewell. Plus, Ben Robert Smith continues his case against 3 Nine newspapers, claiming that his Victoria Cross put a target on his back while breaking down in court what's been dubbed the defamation trial of the century. And the death toll from Victoria's wild weather rises, but even as the clean-up continues in both metro and regional areas, it's believed that the rain will continue right across the state. You can see full details on those stories and plenty more on our YouTube channel. Just search 6 News Australia to find us, and our website 6newsau.com. For now though guys, it's back to you.
Thanks, Leo, and that's our weekly news and current affairs. You can read the latest on our website, wamnnews.com.au.
From Sarah and myself, we wish you good health. Good night. See you next Sunday.
Thanks for stopping by.